All right, welcome back to another episode of the Black Bullion Show. Well, I hit refresh like multiple times this morning, and it just looks like the positive May job openings numbers did very little to change the momentum in precious metals. The Dow is struggling a bit to find momentum. In fact, gold and silver started to overperform at around 10 a.m. Eastern when the report came out. So let's see what's going on in the world of gold and silver today. But first, if you're new to this channel, please hit that big red rectangular subscribe button right down below. Also, please hit the like button. Helps to get this economic evangelism right on out there to the masses to bring more people into precious metals. Okay, so the Bureau of Labor and Statistics just released the job openings and labor turnover summary. And here is a quick quote from that report. And it states the number of hires increased by 2.4 million to a series high of 6.5 million in May. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. This was the largest monthly increase of hires since the series began. Total separations decreased by 5.8 million to 4.1 million, the single largest decrease since the series began. Within separations, the quits rate rose to 1.6%, while the layoffs and discharges rate fell to 1.4%. Job openings increased to 5.4 million on the last business day of May. These improvements in the labor market reflected a limited resumption of economic activity that had been curtailed in March and April due to the Ronies and efforts to contain it. This release includes estimates of the number and rate of job openings, hires, and separations for the total non farm sector by industry and by four geographic regions. So, on the positivity of the economy, one can assume, or at least the economy back in May, one can assume that possibly this could spark some risk on behavior. However, we didn't really get any of that. Check this out. Gold and silver, they're pretty much in the green right now. And they started this morning pretty low. I mean, gold was hovering around the 1775 region. Silver was around $18. Now gold has hit a new recent high of 1794. It's up 0.45%. Obviously gold has hit 1794 before, but this is the first time in recent memory that it's gone this high in spot price. So that's fantastic. Silver is up at 1831, which is pretty good as well. So honestly, it seems to me, at least for gold, that 1800 almost seems inevitable this week, looking at this momentum, and also just looking at all of the barriers that could possibly get into gold's way. I remember I mentioned this before in Friday's gold and silver bullion news update, that we don't really have much resistance happening in the way of economic data and Fed reports and Fed speeches to get in the way of the trajectory of gold. So that's good. But let's take a look at some of the enemies of gold and silver. So we have here the U.S. 10-year yield. And the U.S. 10-year yield is at 0.677. It's down about 0.003%. But honestly, I mean, it's down, but it's not like hurting much. So that's pretty interesting to see. DXY, on the other hand, is at 96.88. It's actually up 0.16%, but that's because it was down really low yesterday. But it's actually starting to trend downward a little bit. And the interesting thing is, right around the time when gold and silver were heading down lower, it was roughly around 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that was roughly around the time you see the dollar going up. Um, and I believe the same thing is true. Yes, the same thing is true for the 10-year yield. Right around that time, you're starting to see the 10-year yield go up. Right around the time when gold and silver were heading downward from about 4 to 6. Um, let's take a look at the Dow. Now, the Dow is struggling to find some momentum here. I don't know why, but you'd think that on the positive news of the job openings that something would happen. Now, I know the Dow and equities are forward looking, so numbers, related to May, it may be so far back that it's just not even pertinent to what's going on right now. And you also have to take into consideration that many of the job openings that occurred in May, we're going to start to see some closures of them soon with the reversal that many of the governors in some of the states that have been impacted by the Ronis are starting to make. Take a look here at the BLS report again. Job openings rose in accommodation and food services the most. So we may start to see some closures of, we're starting to see closures of bars in many of those states. I wouldn't be surprised if restaurants will soon get some strictures as well. Retail trade, we saw some openings there. Um, Construction, uh, and job openings decreased in information and federal government and educational services, which, that makes sense as well. So, I mean, all in all, if we're going back to gold and silver, things are looking fantastic right now. And so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. And again, I don't want to jinx this, but things are looking pretty good. So let me know what you guys think. Hopefully things don't tank later today when this video actually comes out. But I honestly don't see much that could dramatically reverse the direction that these numbers are going for gold and silver, unless maybe some, random positive political spin comes from Washington. Um, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think that or what do you think actually about the job openings report and about gold hitting these new recent highs and silver also showing some positivity as well? All right, guys, thanks again for watching. This was your Tuesday. Uh, Please hit that subscribe button if you're new. Please hit the like button. It's Black Bullion.